I'm Maloney de Zaldivar. I'm from Bush Buffalo, People United for Sustainable Housing. My first comment is related to the process of the REV. I'm an energy democracy organizer, so I go and talk to people on a day-to-day basis and help them try and understand what's going on. Despite what you've said about this being an open public process, almost everyone that I've talked to has no idea that it's going on. So I'd like to first say that it is very important that here moving forward, there are educational materials in addition to these huge downloadable PDFs that are very difficult to understand, and that the Commission invests in community outreach that has various different levels and specifically focuses on participation, but also has that component of education. PowerPoint presentations are not enough for us to understand what is going on. That's my first comment on process. In addition, the website is incredibly difficult to manage and was completely shut down an entire day that we were trying to get public comments. No one could access it. It coincided with the day that we sent out an email to all of our listserv. First, those two things on the process of the REV and the need for real education and participation. As far as the content goes, I think the emphasis on local generation and distributed generation is a commendable one, and it should be accompanied with local and distributed ownership. And that ownership needs to be accessible for everyone, including renters and low-income folks. So decoupling ownership of renewable energy from traditional predatory lending processes, as well as home ownership, is very important process to figure out how that can happen. I also think that efficiency in the hands of utility companies, as well as even contractors that are in charge, that do efficiency, has historically failed. We have seen this in our own community, and we have seen the transition of what a role of a community-based organization can play in efficiency as a non-for-profit go-between between customers and the companies that are providing these services. Those non-for-profit community-based organizations or constituency-based organizations play an incredibly important role in consumer advocacy and helping consumers understand what the programs that are out there exist and how to navigate those. So in the REV, I would like to see a clear role of these community-based organizations to not only navigate efficiency, but also ownership in renewables. There has been some steps on that so far, but I would like to see it even more specific in the REG, because we know historically that for-profit companies do not do a good job of this. And that for consumers, having a trusted go-between can be very helpful and increase dramatically the amount of participation in these programs and in this transition. In addition, I think it is incredibly important to have an independent distributed services provider or platform. The coordinating role needs to be one that is accountable to the public and has people's interest, especially the people who have lived the worst effects of our inefficiency and of climate change at the forefront, and that this independent body can put in this coordinating role, can play this coordinating role so that people are first, not profits. And that in this, there is a continued emphasis on the role of utilities and catering to their profits. However, the people need to be at the forefront, especially the people, mostly low-income communities of color who have been historically affected by these issues of inefficiency, of unaffordability, and of climate change. And I would also like to emphasize the importance of job creation and local job creation. Again, emphasizing utility companies without talking about local small businesses and their role in this transformation leaves out the piece of local job creation and job training and having more people participate in this economy. And people who live in the communities, especially low-income communities who can install solar panels on roofs of their neighbors or weatherize the homes or make efficient the homes of their neighbors. I think it's incredibly important to emphasize the role of small businesses and job creation and job training programs throughout this transition, and emphasize that the way community-based organizations as intermediaries between small businesses can help them and benefit them as well with job creation.
Thank you. I hate to cut you off, but I'm asking you to sum up for a little over 5 minutes, okay?
Yep, just to sum up, emphasize that if you look around this room, it is not representative of the communities that we live in, and that in part is a signal to all of us that we need to figure out how more people in a more diverse community can participate in this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Oliver, followed by John Dugan-Haas.